So here's a pop quiz. What did you notice was the trend in all of the pictures? Well, if the title didn't help you already, all of the pictures that you saw showed you the bad skin I used to have. That time in my life, I was actually noticing that I had them, but I wasn't really thinking much of it. They show up and eventually they'll go away. And then I saw a picture where my forehead was just covered in acne. I visited a friend and she told me that I should really be concerned about my skin. And I was just like, yeah, it's whatever. I promise I'm going to show you pictures after I change my diet. So those pictures were taken when I was living in the South and I was eating out every day. I mean, I would have breakfast, maybe cereal in the mornings, and then for lunch and dinner, I will go out to eat every day. Now, I lived alone and I had a good paying job. I own a condo and a car, and money wasn't a struggle. So I just didn't want to cook. So the easiest thing was to go out and eat every day. And the result of that was that my skin was bad. On top of me being pale, I gained weight. And I will go and eat a Red Robin. And I would try to get maybe salad, a vegetarian burger, or a veggie sandwich, healthy things. But in reality, that kind of food is not the best. It's not a great diet. So back at that time, I was dating my boyfriend, who's not my husband, and he is a lot more strict when it comes to food. He was on that mm, macrobi- macrobiotic diet. Whew, my spelling. Sorry. And that kind of diet revolves around brown rice. And I can't really tell you much about this diet, but I know that it's basically about rice. And I mean, this was a new thing for me. I had to eat different, and I was following his preference. And it was cutting dairy. He was lactose intolerant, so we had to switch to rice milk. And I had been drinking cow milk for a while, so I had to get used to that. I ate brown rice often, vegetables, nothing that was microwaved. It was a big change for me. But while I was on this diet, I lost a lot of weight. And I have found pictures that were probably maybe 6 months after we started this diet. So I'm going to show you now. Oh, you can see a big difference on those pictures. My skin was so much better, and it was only from changing the diet. I was not buying anything that I was applying to my face. I wasn't getting any new skin products or anything. It was all based on the new diet. And it was all from eating healthy. And oh, another thing was the body odor. But sorry, odor. It was so bad. The smell that radiated from my armpits was awful. My breath didn't smell good. And it was all the toxins that my body was letting out from the previous food that I had been eating. I was trying to eat clean, and all of these toxins were just leaving my body. And I had just started this new relationship, and the smell was just so bad. But luckily, he was telling me that those were good news, that I needed to stay positive because this meant that my body was cleaning itself. On top of that, he didn't really support deodorants because of the chemicals, and it was all natural. So, if you eat right, and you let out all the toxins, things should improve. It was really a big change for me, everything that was happening. But the odor eventually went down. I ate better and I got used to it. And just to let you know, my body smells better now. My skin looks nicer. And I've been on this diet for a while. And I did realize that what I ate affected my acne. I do have to admit that I have a weakness for chips. And whenever a pimple will pop out, it's because I've had enough chips. So the diet helps me be aware of what I eat and what's good for my skin. Also, being active and working out has helped me. My skin feels smoother and softer. My color has changed, and one of the big reasons why I'm pale is because I have low iron. I have to make sure I eat right and that I have iron supplements, and I have more color so I don't look sick. I have been drinking lots of water. I never drank enough water. I always drank soda or fruit juice that I thought were healthy, like apple juice, orange juice, but the amount of calories in them, the sweets in them are just not real. So if you choose to drink fruit juice, make sure it's all natural. The water that I was drinking was helping in the cleaning of my system, and the exercise helped with the blood cells. It rejuvenated my skin cells, and my skin became soft and smooth. And the diet just taught me so much I did not know. I mean, growing up, I never really paid attention to the acne and the things that caused it, but my husband was there to teach me. And I didn't mind changing my diet. I thought that it was just, eating a little bit healthier and just making a little change, but I ended up seeing a huge difference. So my skin's a real example of the journey that I've been through. Okay, so this is my advertisement for skin. What you need to take home from today's vlog is drink lots of water, eat organic food. Try to stick to that. That is just better than eating out. If you eat out at restaurants and you think it's healthy, it's really not. They're not fresh food, they're not made from scratch. They may be watered down or old ingredients. So I really thought that eating out and choosing healthy things were good, but it's not. Remember to stay active. And that's basically all the information. Oh, and if you start smelling bad, that's actually good news. So, congratulations for being clean and choosing healthy things to eat. Oh, and I see you later. I recently posted a picture of this book. I found it through an Instagram account that I follow. It's a lady who talks about things related to fitness, food, and health. She was talking about finally being done with the whole 30. So after I did some research, I found out that the whole 30 means that you eat whole foods for 30 days and you avoid eating processed foods and follow the strict diet for 30 days. She also suggested to read this book. So I went ahead and bought it. And if you ask me, do I think it's worth buying? My philosophy is that there's nothing wrong with learning new things. So if you'd like to go ahead and read it for yourself, I think that would be great. But I also think that there are things out there that matches my life that does not necessarily matches yours. I've been reading the book and I'm not completely done reading it, but I have learned that some of the information in the book does not matches my life. I mean, some of it does, but they talk about eating meat, and I'm a vegetarian, and they strongly suggest and stress that you should try to eat meat. And they understand that people are vegetarians due to religion, but they think that you should eat meat, and that's their philosophy, and it doesn't match mine. Now, I'm not a vegetarian by choice. my family has been vegetarian. Both of my parents are. My mother became pregnant with me and continued to be a vegetarian until I was born. So I guess you can say that I'm a pure breed vegetarian. Now, I have tried to eat meat, but my body just rejects it, so I really have no choice, but I don't mind it. Being a vegetarian is healthy. I also don't eat any dairy. I have stopped eating dairy since, oh my gosh, 2006. But when I became pregnant with my baby, I was craving dairy. So I went back to eating a little bit of cheese and yogurt, just mainly those two things. But anyway, the diet does not allow for cheese or any dairy in general. It also talked about getting rid of legumes and grains, which I thought was interesting because I have been eating grains for a while. Now, legumes are not really part of my diet. Now, the diet that they're referring to, it's called the paleo diet. And the word paleo means the caveman's diet. And it traces back to a time when people gathered their food and they didn't really have any processed food or anything that could be microwaved. So the diet came from plants and animals. And that's the philosophy that this diet follows. Now, some research have shown that this diet helps those who suffer from diabetes because you get rid of sugar. It also helps those who struggle with inflammation as well as other different conditions. In general, it helps with your health. It is nothing but positive, and you get what matches for you. But if you really think that this is ultimately what you want and this is the perfect match for your lifestyle and you make it a goal, I definitely think that you will benefit from this book. Now, before I forget, I wanted to mention that I breastfed both of my babies. And I always thought and remember that the food that matches my life, I can't just easily get rid of my diet. I can be really strict because I need the calories in order to feed babies. Now, after you give birth, your body needs to heal, and the process really doesn't happen overnight. So, getting rid of things in your diet is not really a good idea. Now, my process might be different than yours. Your situation and where you stand as far as health and what matches your lifestyle, the food and the fitness, it's all about you, right?